Hey guys, welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bass III, and today's video is about establishing your hedgehog concept. Okay, as many of you know, earlier in the year I set a goal that I was going to read 40 books this year, and one of the books that I've read so far is Good to Great by Jim Collins. Okay, I thought the book had some pretty good concepts overall. There was times where it fell a little bit flat for me, but this one concept really resonated with me, and it's not a new concept. Okay, this is something that I had previously heard and read about, but the way that Jim kind of laid it out and really kind of hammered it home, I felt like it was important because it's become one of those core foundational traits that Titanium Investments has adopted over the past 12, 14 months. Okay. And that is establishing your hedgehog concept. So, first, before we go too much further in the episode, let's talk about what is a hedgehog concept. Okay. And so I found this website that goes over a little bit more in depth of Jim Collins' concept here of the hedgehog concept. Okay. And it was taken from Isaiah Berlin's famous essay, The Hedgehog and the Fox. And the quote was, "The fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows one big thing." Okay. And so the hedgehog concept that Jim Collins really broke down is in the whole book, everything that he did research on companies that literally are great companies, like the difference between good and great. Okay. So everything that he shares within the book is along those lines. And one of the common traits of the good to great companies was they had a hedgehog concept. So what is the hedgehog concept? It can be broken down into three factors. Okay. What are you deeply passionate about? What drives your economic engine? And what can you be the best in the world at? Okay. So those are the three core traits. If whatever your business concept is if it can hit all three of those, that should essentially become your hedgehog concept. So again, let me repeat those. What are you deeply passionate about? What drives your economic engine? And what can you be the best in the world at? Okay. And the point behind the hedgehog concept is that you're eliminating all of the shiny object syndrome, the ideas that you have as an entrepreneur that you could be good at. Okay. And this is where we really struggled at Titanium back in 2017, 18, and really 2019. And it carried over into 2020 and 2021 because we had to make up for our mistakes. But anything that we chose or we thought that we were good at, we decided that was going to become a new focus for us within our business. And we were never great at anything. In fact, what we actually became was pretty bad at everything. And that's because we were lacking the hedgehog concept. Okay. When I was looking at ideas, I wasn't sitting there and saying, what am I deeply passionate about? Because if I had said that, I would have immediately said, I'm not going to flip houses because I'm not deeply passionate about that. And we should have all agreed to that. If you look at it, between myself, Cassie, and Elijah, we're all former contractors. Cassie and I ran a remodeling company, a general contractor business, and Elijah has owned multiple roofing companies and contracting businesses across the country. We weren't deeply passionate about those businesses because obviously we're not still running them. So how could you be deeply passionate about rehabbing houses and flipping them? We weren't. So right then and there, that could not be our hedgehog concept. What drives your economic engine? Okay. When we look at Titanium Investments, the one common exit strategy in our business that we've had that has always driven the economic engine has been wholesaling. That right there should have been the first clue to that should be what we look at inside of our business as being the hedgehog concept. And when I look at what are you deeply passionate about, I love helping solve sellers' problems. I love bringing great deals to cash buyers. I think I'm really good at analyzing deals, and I think I'm really good at teaching my team on how to do the exact same thing. So right there, wholesaling has hit 2 of the 3 traits to become a hedgehog concept. And the last one, I think this is probably the hardest one for people to truly and honestly answer, is what you can be the best in the world at. Okay, this is how you go from good to great. And I think if you look back at the decision that I made to stop solely wholesaling and start buying properties for flips, start buying rentals, doing other exit strategies, that was more for pride and ego than it was for what's going to drive the economic engine. It's really not sexy to go meet family or friends and say, I'm essentially flipping paper. Okay. But showing them pictures of a beautiful remodel that you did, the before and afters, that's what gets them the oohs and the ahs and the wow, man, you're really good at this. But again, that is all ego. That's all that was. And that's where I think I personally really struggled, and looking at it and saying, what could I be the best in the world at? I very quickly, when I started thinking about what our hedgehog concept was going to be, I knew that I have a unique skill set to be one of the best wholesalers in the world. I know that I have ability to acquire properties, to close properties in a unique way. And I think that we have an ability to acquire properties all across the United States and dispose the properties all across the United States. And that I am confident of all of the things that we've ever done. This is something that I can work on being the best in the world at. I'm confident in that. So for you, as someone that's listening right now, I want you to sit there and think about right now what you're doing in your business. Are you deeply passionate about it? Does it drive your economic engine? And do you feel like you could be the best in the world at what you're doing? Develop and establish your hedgehog concept, because that is what's going to take you to a whole nother level, from good to great, just like Jim Collins talks about. And again, like I said, the book, it falls flat at certain points in times for me. It wasn't one of the ground shaking books that I've read, like Extreme Ownership or Relentless or Winning. But this concept right here was a groundbreaking moment for me. The analogy of the hedgehog and the fox, to me, really made me realize that this was something that we were truly struggling with inside of our business. And if we didn't figure out what our hedgehog concept was going to be, we were going to kill Titanium Investments. And it was all going to be on my shoulders as the leader with that extreme ownership. So later on in the book, it talks about the ego. And I want to find this here. It says, as you search for your own concept, keep in mind that when good to great companies finally grasped their hedgehog concept, it had none of the tiresome, irritating blasts of mindless bravado typical of the comparison companies. Yep, we could be the best at that, was stated as the recognition of a fact, no more startling than observing that the sky is blue or the grass is green. When you get your hedgehog concept right, it has the quiet ping of truth, like a single, clear, perfectly struck note hanging in the air in the hushed silence of a full auditorium at the end of a quiet movement of a Mozart piano concerto. There's no need to say much of anything. The quiet truth speaks for itself. That's how the website wraps up about good to great and the hedgehog concept. And I wanted to share that with you because I've over the past 6, 7, 8, 9 months, I've been preaching about certain aspects of, as business owners, what you need to be establishing, right? I've talked about stop searching for unicorns. I've talked about being consistent as a tree, but I never went all the way back to the foundation of your business, which is the hedgehog concept. And this is truly where everything starts. When you really think about how you're going to sustain long-term success in this industry, first and foremost, establish what your hedgehog concept is going to be and write it down and be clear and plain about it. My hedgehog concept is a nationwide virtual wholesaler. That is now what I identify as. Not a flipper, not a landlord, not someone that does owner finance, Airbnbs, or anything like that. It is identifying strictly as a nationwide virtual wholesaler. And I think the nationwide and the virtual part of that is just as important as everything else. If you just sit there and say a wholesaler, well, you're not being clear and plain with your hedgehog concept. Does that mean you're going to go deep into your local market? Does that mean you're going to go deep into several markets? Does it mean you're going to go on appointments or everything's going to be virtual? Be clear and plain with what your hedgehog concept is going to be. Nationwide virtual wholesaler. Okay? At that point in time, that's when you can move on, establish what your systems are going to be, and then stop searching for more unicorns. You now have your systems. Now build the processes around those systems. Be consistent as a tree within those systems and processes that surround your hedgehog concept. And then that is how you will create your own reality. And that is what everything that we do here at Titanium Investments is about, creating our own reality. And it wasn't possible until we established what our hedgehog concept is. All right, guys. I hope this helps you. I hope so. Even if it's just one person out there says, these are the mistakes I'm making. I'm making the exact same mistakes because I don't have a clear hedgehog concept. This episode was for you. Please sit down, write it out, be clear and plain. What is your exact hedgehog concept? All right, guys. We'll see y'all soon. Thank you so much.